Hey guys, right now we're going to go over the second part of the 2.5 notes, and it's super important that you pay attention to this and definitely make it to the end because I am also going to do a short video on how to do the Delta Math assignment after this. This is definitely something that takes a lot of practice, and so I will try to incorporate that into class. But let me tell you, if you're feeling shaky with it, this Delta Math assignment, remember, you can just keep going with it as long as you want to keep going with it. Even once you get to 100%, you can still do the practice problems. And I usually leave it open for about 4 days. But if in the event you want to keep practicing it, you can always ask me to open it back up again. But anyway, let's look at what we got here. Oh, and by the way, the Delta Math assignment is the assignment. There's nothing going to be in your practice packet. It's going to be this virtual assignment. And anyway, let's move on. So right here, I actually have the key that's already filled out, and I'm using kind of this PDF format with, I don't really know what I'm doing. So if I screw up kind of what I'm doing, just be patient with me because this is all new technology and I'm doing this a different way. So first off, I want you to notice that, again, I'm just going to go ahead and put a little, that right here and right here. If you have if you're graphing, if you see a graph on an equation, which that is what we are doing, is describing graphs on an equation. And there is an open circle on the end of a continuous line on a graph. That means it doesn't include the endpoint, just like when we wrote inequalities. And then if it's a solid circle, it does include the endpoint. And so that's going to change how we write it because we're going to be writing most of these with an inequality in it. So let's look at the first one. It's asking you for the domain and the range, and you always have to take a mental note to say domain is X. So I'm going to look at this graph here. I'm going to note that there is a circle on the end of each. And I'm just going to draw like a little, that was a bad line. Look, I'm getting good. Okay. So the domain is from this yellow line on the left to the yellow line on the right. So the least value of that is the -5 and the greatest is the 5. So if you notice, I put the X in between because it's not just these several points on a line. There's an infinite number of points between -5 and 5. So if we write the inequality like you see here, -5 is less than X is less than 5, it includes all the points in between. Now, because of the circles, we didn't include an equal sign with that. Now let's do the range. The range is the y values. So the y values, the highest value is here, the lowest value is here. And so we're always going to start with the lowest value. So it is -2. The highest value is a +2. Because of the circles, I'm just going to say less than because it's saying that y is greater than the -2, but it's less than the +2. Let's look at the next one. Domain is X. You have to make that mental note. So if you look here, well, that was a really squiggly line. Sorry about that. It starts or it ends, however you want to look at it, at the 4. But if you notice, it goes on and on and on forever. So X is less than or equal to 4. Let's look at the next one. Let's look at the Y value. I think I scooted up a little bit too high. A little bit too low. Okay, let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this. All right, Y values. It starts here, but then it keeps, again, it goes on and on and on forever. So it's equal to the 0, it's greater than the 0, but then it goes on and on forever. So do you see how it's different? How I wrote that the example number 8 is different from example number 7, and that's because of the arrow. Let's move on. Example number 9. Domain is X. So I'm going to put a line here, and I'm going to put a line here. And so the least value is -3, and it includes the -3 because of the solid circle. The highest value is 4, but it does not include the 4 because of the circle. And so -3 is less than equal to x, which is less than 4. So you see I have two different symbols there because of the circle, the solid circle, and the empty circle. I usually call it a circle and a dot. All right, let me get rid of that. And let me get rid of that. Let's look at the y values. And down to here. So the least is the 5, and it includes the -5, and it includes the -5 because of the solid circle. The greatest value is 3, and it includes the 3. So you can see how I use the symbols here and the symbols here with the equal sign underneath it. Let's look at the domain for number 10. Minimum, maximum. It has a solid dot, so I use this symbol and this symbol. Less than, -4 is less than equal to x, less than equal to 4. Again, I can get rid of these real quick, clean it up a bit. All right, again, you always start with the least. With the y, that's kind of hard. You have to remember you're going to do the lowest value, which is in this situation a -5, less than equal to y, less than equal to -1. And then last but not least, domain, again, it's the x's. There's 1, there's 2. And so it starts with the -5 and it includes the -5. It goes all the way over to the 3 and it includes the 3. So that's why I use this symbol and this symbol. And then for the range, again, we're going to start with the lowest value. So it's going to be the -3. It includes the -3. It goes all the way up to the +3. It includes the +3, which again is why I use this symbol here and this symbol here. I'm going to move on to the Delta Math assignment. So you're going to see how you're going to be practicing this. I thought that would be a great idea if I can actually get it to work. Do you want to save changes? No. Let's see. It's here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Come on. All right, there it is. Okay, so when you open up Delta Math, it'll look like this. And so you're going to do exactly what we did in the notes, but there's some strange symbols down here. We're not going to be using all these symbols. So that's why I'm wanting to show you basically what you're going to be doing. So don't freak out or anything. Now, the most important thing, and I don't have a way to use my pen on this, is noticing if it's domain or range, because it's super easy to screw up. The very first example that I did on my own, I screwed it up because it said range and I just assumed it was domain because I wasn't paying attention. And so I got it wrong. So domain, you have to pay attention. This one's saying determine the domain. That's X. If it said determine the range, you would be thinking Y. But this is X. So if you look at this equation, it's got the solid dots, so I know it's going to include whatever the number is. The least value is the -10, and the greatest value is the 2. Remember, I'm reading it left to right because it's domain. So I'm going to write that down. I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to put -10, and then it's going to be that less than equal to symbol because it has a solid dot. We're doing domain. Domain is X. So I'm going to put an X. And then I'm going to do the less than equal to symbol again. And then what do we say the highest one was? This was a 2. So I'm going to do a 2. I'm going to submit my, I'm going to double check because I don't want to screw this up. It's embarrassing when I do that. Okay, domain, it looks like I did good. I think I did good. Let's see what I did. Submit. Yes. Yes. The teacher got it right. I'm so excited. But again, I want you to notice. And look, I love the way it shades it in and if you screw it up, it'll tell you why you screwed it up. But remember, I'm talking about domain, and this is a very beautiful picture showing you that what domain is. And so, and I love all of this, love all of this. And so Have fun. Good luck. You got 10 of these you want to get right for a 100. I want everybody to get 100. See you later.